Alrighty, we are on Aleph. We learned in the Mishnah yesterday that the Ziknei Bezin would give over to the Ziknei Kahuna, and they would take him up to the base of Tinas, and they would teach him the Maisa Keteris. That's what this Brisa says. Tana, Lilamdei Chafina. They taught him how to take the Keteris. This was the Avodah Kasha Sheba Mikdash, was being able to take the Keteris and then to be able to put it into the shovel with the ash, with the coals from the Mizbeach. This was a big Avodah, so that's what they went to teach him and to practice with him. Okay, that is it. Now, for the almost the rest of the Amud, we're going to discuss offices in the Beis Hamikdash. So, if you have your chart, take out your charts. We are going to we're going to talk about some. This is exciting, Kevin. I know it's a little dry for some people, but this is the Beis Hamikdash. You know, some people like to go into Har Bayis, it gets them feeling excited. You learn about the Beis Hamikdash, and we're entering it. You know what I mean? We go into the Beis Hamikdash. You can go in right now. Here's your ticket in. Here we go. It's like the Gemara. Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol actually had two offices in the Beis Hamikdash. Meaning, Achas Lishkas Parhedjin. One is the Lishkas Parhedjin, and that is where he slept. The Achas Lishkas Beis Avtinas. The second was this office called Beis Avtinas, and that is where he was taught. That's where he hang out during the day, where they teach him these avodah. Now, Achas B'tzavim v'Achas B'darim. One was in the north side of the Azara, the Achas B'darim, and one was in the southern side of the Azara. Now, the Gemara has to prove this. Okay? Just as a recall, this is the northern side. If you're looking at it like this, let's look at it like this. Look at it like this. Okay. So, this is Mizrach. This is Ma'ariv.
That says
right?
west.
This is going to be north, right? And this is south. Okay? So he's going to have an office over here. We'll find out where exactly. I think it's over there. And I'll have one over here somewhere. So here we go. We'll go through them right now. Here we go. One of them was in the north, as the Mishnah says. There were 6 offices in the Azara. So there are 3 offices here. You see these guys. This is the 3 offices.
What's the little fourth dot?
In the Durham.
There's a shower, no?
That's a gate.
Oh.
These are offices. So the Gemara says, "Vav Lishkas Hayu." The Azara give with something about Lishkas Hamelech, Lishkas Haparva, and Lishkas Hamadichin. Now, I'm just going to describe each one. Lishkas HaMelech, that's going this way. Lishkas HaMelech was Sheshem Neistin Melech LeCarbon. You know, they knew how to salt in the base of this. Every carbon, Al Kakabanecha Takriv Melach. They had drink salt. So there was a Lishka where they kept the salt. Okay. Lishkas HaParva, Sheshem Hayu Melech and Oyeres Kachim. In the Lishkas HaParva, so that is where they would rinse off that's where they would salt the hides. Oyeres Kachim. The Algaga on its roof. So there was a base tefillah, there was a mikvah for the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, and that was called again the base of Parva. That's where he did all of his. He did 5 tefillahs and 10 rechitzis yadayim v'raglayim. That was done in the base of Parva. Okay. And that was on the gag. That's pretty good, no? They had a mikvah on.
Wasn't there one on the roof? Ground or something?
Yeah, that was in the base of tefillah. That was in this there. From Talmud.
Didn't go to that one?
Who?
I thought the Kohen Gadol used that one.
No, that was the underground one was for a Kohen Gadol, a Kohen that became Tameh. Yeah. So they couldn't use the mikvah there. They didn't want to bash themselves, so they had a mikvah underground for him. Okay, then there's the Lishkas Hamadichin, Shama Hamadichin, Kibbe Kachim. That's when they rinse out the insides of the Kachim. Misham Mesiba Oilo Lagag Beis HaParva. That's where they had a staircase that would go up to the Beis HaParva. Okay, so these are the three offices in the what was that? That was the Durham. Okay. Now okay, Shabbat Tzafin, Gimel B'Tzafin. Then we have three Mitzvah: Lishkas HaEitz, Lishkas HaGadol, and Lishkas HaGazis. So that's here. Lishkas HaEitz, Lishkas HaOrman, and Lishkas HaGazis. Okay. Now, no, I got that wrong. Lishkas Ha. Oh, I messed up over here. I'm sorry. These are the offices down here. These are the gates. Yeah, we'll get to those in a minute. That's the next Gemara. These are the offices. And then these are the offices that are in the Durham, and these are the offices that are in the Tzafon. Yeah, these over here, because this is the Lishkas HaGazis, I think.
There's only two there. Oh, two and the massive one.
And then the big one, yeah. So here we got.
What's in the whole the sun? Oh.
Where we're at? Question?
No. What's the?
That's the Lishkas HaGazis. That's what the Sanhedrin said.
The whole long space.
This one here.
In between.
That's an office. It's got a number.
What's this? Is that an office?
No, that's the Azara. That's the Ezra's Kohanim and Ezra's Yisrael. This is Ezra's Nashim, Ezra's Yisrael, Ezra's Kohanim. Okay. So those are the offices. I messed up on that one. All right, not bad. We'll get back to those. You were correct, Eliyav. Says the Gemara. So in the north we have Lishkas HaEitz, Lishkas HaGadol, Lishkas HaGazis. Lishkas HaEitz. Shachachti. I forgot Mahosim Mishameshes. I forgot what the Lishkas HaEitz was used for. Abashal Omer Lishkas Kohen Gadol Hoisa Achure Shtehen. The Lishkas Kohen Gadol was behind both of them. The Gag Shlushtan, and the roof of all three of these offices, Lishkas Hagola, Shava. I'm reading this right. I mean, 1 second. Lishkas Hagola Haisa Achure Shtein, the Gag Shlushtan Shava. Okay. Lishkas Hagola. Now, what did they do there? Sham Hoya Bar Hagola. That was a bar for the people who come up to be a regal that they had what to drink from. That was where they got all of. That's where the drinking water came from. The Hagagad must have loved. There was a wheel on top of it. Azara. That was that's where everybody got water from. Givaldik. Lishkas HaGazis. That was the big room. What was that for? Shemais Sanhedrin Shal Yisrael Yeshavas. That's where the Sanhedrin of the Yisrael was. Vidana Kol Kohanim. They would don the Kohanim who came up for the first time. Are you a kosher Kohen or not? Mishadim Tzabay Psol. So Kohen came up. He was all excited. Imagine days coming up to this his day to stand in front of the Sanhedrin, and they found by Psol. He would put on black clothes. And he'd wrap himself in a black cloak. And he left. He was Avelus. Someone who didn't find any psal, he lavish levanim. Lavish levanim, he wear white. Misativ levanim. Benichnas and kohenim mishamish and ochva kahanim. What a simcha for that yid, for that kohen. Okay. Okay. So that's where. So what do you see over there? In Maisa, in that big long brisa, we found that the Kohen Gadol had a place which was on top of the base of the parva, which was his base tefillah, and that is where he would go to. That was his lishka, and that was achas shebe darein.
Did you always say he had two?
Correct. Now we're going to get to the next one. Now, okay. I'm sorry. That was achas shebe.
There was one behind.
1 second. That was in the north. Correct. That was the one that was in the north. Lishkas Kohen Gadol Haisa Achure Shtehen. He had an office behind both of them. That's what Abba Shaul told us. That was the one that was in the Tzafon, in the northern part of the Beis Hamikdash. Achaz B'Daram, he had one in the south. Now under the Mishnah. Shiva Sha'arim, now we get to the gates. Hayu Ba'azara, Gimel B'Tzafon, Gimel B'Daram, the Echad B'Mizrach. So now again, we're talking about the Ezras. The Azara, not this part. This part, 3 gates here, 3 gates here, and 1 over there. Okay. Says the Gemara. What were the ones in the Dharam? Shar Hadlaka. You had the Shar Hadlaka. We're in the Dharam here. So this is the first one. Is down here, Shar Hadlaka. I don't know if it's on one of these. And then you had the Shar. Which one? One second. 49. Yeah, that's the upper gate in 49. So it was 50. 50 Shar Hadlaka. That's this one.
That's the little one.
It's called Shar Ha'elyon. This is the Shar Hadlaka. And then we got Shar Hadlaka. Sheni, next, the second to it was the Shar. Machlek is what it's called, the Shar HaCarbon. On the page here, I'm holding it's called Shar HaBachiris. In the Bach, yeah, he changed it to Shar HaBachiris. On the paper, they called it the Shar HaBachiris. Rashi says here he wasn't sure what it was for. Was that Rashi? Yeah. He didn't know why it was called that. One of the Mefarshim said because that's where they brought the carbon tumid in every day. Okay. Shlishulai Shar Hamayim. The third was called the Shar Hamayim. And that is Rashi says when you had the Nisuch Hamayim, it came in through the Shar Hamayim. Big gate right there. Okay, big. Okay. Now, Shar Hadlaka, Shar Karban, Shar Shlishi. So I keep losing the place here. Okay. Now we have Shar Mizrach. That was like the entrance to the Azara. That's called Shar Niknar. And then we have Shtei Lishkas Hayusham. There were two offices next to Shar Niknar. Achaz b'yamini v'achaz b'shmali. One to the right, one to its left. Achaz Lishkas Pinchas Hamalbish. The Achaz Lishkas Oisech Havitin. So that's what you have next to the Shar Niknar. And then Elia will tell you these two other rooms here were for the musical instruments. Okay? Elia told me that. Now we move on. Okay. Now Shabbat Safin. We're on the north. There was Shar Nitzitz. Binyan Achsad Jahaya. Now the Shar Nitzitz was up here. All right, this is the Shar Nitzitz, and that's the this part here is the gate. You can see that. That's the gate. It was built like an achsadja. It only had two walls. It didn't have a third wall. Okay. V'aliyah b'nu yalei, and it had a second floor, agav on top of it. V'sham kehanim shemer milmala. The kehanim would stand above, and b'shemer v'levim milmata. V'shelafnim haimenu hachel. And it's missing a word over here. I think it should say. We take out those words, it should say Pesach Hayulei Lechel. You're able to get from here, you're able to get all the way to the Chel, which is over here. Okay? That's where the Beis HaMaikid was. Netanya. Chamesh Tfilas ve'asar Kiddushin. Kohen Gadol Mekadesh B'Bayam. There were 5 tefillas and 10 kiddushin when he would wash his hands and feet. That he'd be table, amen. He'd be table, the Kohen would be table on Yom Kippurim. V'kohen b'kodesh, al gag beis haparva. They were all done in the kodesh, except for the one done in the beis haparva. I'm sorry, all done in the beis haparva. Chutz mizu, except for this one, sheisa b'chol al gabe shar hamayim, which is done in the shar hamayim. Ubetzidai lishkas haisa, and next to it was his office. So here is where we have on the tzafan, on top of the shar hamayim, the Kohen Gadol had a second office. V'lo yadana. I don't know. Lishkas parhedrin b'tzafan, lishkas beis avtinas b'darim. Lishkas beis avtinas b'tzafan, lishkas parhedrin b'darim. I don't know which one was where. So we now want to figure out which office is b'tzafan and which one is b'darim. We know that in the beis parhedrin is where he slept, and the beis avtinas is where he was taught how to do the chafina, but we don't know which one was where. Okay. Let's try to figure it out. Says the Gemara, Umistavra the Lishkas Parhedrin Bidarim. You know what? It makes sense to say that the Lishkas Parhedrin, where he slept, was in the dorm next to where he did his tefillas during the week. He did his tefillas during the week in the Shar Hamayim, which is in the dorm. My time. What's the reason? Because Machtim Kai, he'd wake up, he'd relieve himself. The Tavel, then he'd go to the mikveh. And then he would go to the north, the Gonar Chafina. That's where he would go to the base of Tinas to learn how to do his avodah. The base of Mikdash. Then he'd go to the base of Mikdash. He'd work the whole day doing the avodah. Then the Panya in the evening, Mazu or Madu Aleh, they would sprinkle the paraduma ashes on him. Vader Azal Ladarim. Then he'd go back to the Darim, V'tavel, and go to the mikvah, V'naich, and go to sleep. Right? So that means he started in the Darim. He did what he needed to do in the Darim. He went to the Tzafin, did avodah, came back at night. It was toivel and went to sleep. So that was back in the Darim. The Amrit Lishkas Parhedrin B'Tzafin. But if you're going to say that Lishkas Parhedrin was B'Tzafin, I mean that's where he slept. So then what's going to happen? Machtim Kai, he's going to wake up. Misav Ragov, he's going to use the bathroom. And then he's got to go to the Darim, the Tavel. And then the Gomer Chafina, he'd do the Chafina there on the Darim side. The Asla Beis Hamikdash, you come to the Beis Hamikdash, you do the Avodah Kula, the Yoma, and then Lahade Panya, in the evening, Mother Allah, he's going to the sprinkle on the ashes, the Hadar Azal Darim. Now he's got to go back to the Darim, to go to the mikvah. And now when he wants to go to sleep, he's got to go by Mahadir, Mezal 7. He's got to go back to the north, to be able to rest. Are we going to be matriachim so much? So therefore, it makes sense to say that the base parhedrin where he slept was next to the mikveh. Okay? That's the first part of the Gemara. Says the Gemara, maybe we should make it a bit bothersome and cumbersome for him. What would that accomplish? The Itzaduki, because if he was a Tzaduki, Lefresh, he'd leave. It's too big of a bother. Inami, or alternatively, it's Kadai, you shouldn't feel too proud. Because if you're not going to say that, Na'avdinu l'travayu b'hadei hadadi. Inami, what is it? Na'avdinu l'travayu b'hadei hadadi. Yeah, then otherwise just make the two offices next to each other. Meaning that's like a good kasha. Like, why do you need to have one office in the tzafin and one in the darim? If we're looking to make it as easy as possible for him, so give him two rooms next to each other. Inami tisagile b'chada. And for care, just give him one room. Why do you need two rooms to start with? Elamai for care. We want to be matriachim. We want to make him work. We wanted to make it uncomfortable, so if he's a tzuki, he'll leave, and he won't become too haughty at all. Okay, Kishmak, so that means the Gemara's maskana, it sounds like, that there was taka, the base parhedrin would be in the tzafin, and the base is one on top of the base of tinas was in the darim. As the Gemara is saying, below yadana. Kishmak. Okay, that's the one more Gemara. So remember, they tell him, they make him make a shvuah. And what's the shvuah? They say, listen, we are shluchei bezin, and you are our shliach and the shliach of bezin. And we're making you make a shvuah that you're not going to change from doing the avodah. Now, in fact, the Gemara, Levit Tavit Yufta, the Rav Huna Brei Rav Yeshua. We have a geshmaka upshlag, a refutation to the sheet of Rav Huna Brei Rav Yeshua, the Amar Rav Huna Brei Rav Yeshua. Hani kahani, shluchei rachmanin. Have you heard the shayla? Are Kohanim, who do Kohanim work for? Do they work for the one they bring a carbon for? Or are they working for the HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Are they shluchei rachmana, the shluchim of Hashem? Or are they shluchim didan, of the bialim of the carbon? So Rav Huna, Brei Yeshua said that the Kohanim have to be shluchei rachmana. Why? If you would tell me that they are our shluchim, So then, Mi'ika Midi, the Anan Lemetzinin Lemevad, Vishluchi Dan Matsu Abdi. Is there anything which you can't do and you can have a shliach do for you? That doesn't work. So it must be that the Sheluach DeRachmana. So for the Gemara, if that's the case, then how could what did our Mishnah say? The Mishnah said that Kohen Gadol anu shluchei bezin ba'ata shlucheinu. You are our shliach. How could they say that you're our shliach? That you're not our shliach. You're Sheluach DeRachmana. Kasha on Rav Huna to Yufta on Rav Huna. Wow. Answers the Gemara now. Hachikan realized this is what he was saying to him. Mashbi'in anu alecha al datenu v'adas bezin. That's just a lesson of the Shavua. Not, they weren't saying you are shluchim, but in terms of making this Shavua, you're doing it on our conditions, not what you're thinking about, but what we're thinking about. Rashi on the bottom says an afkamina, whether they are Sheluach DeRachmana or Sheluach Didan. Rashi on the bottom, Yitezim Al says the nafkamina humoder hana mimenu mutar l'shiakar v'lov karban noisav. If one of the guys came into the basement and says, "Oh, vey, I can make a nedvei, and I'll never have hana from you," to the Kohen. So is the Kohen allowed to bring the carbon? So if he was working for him, he can't. If he's working for Hashem, he could. Givaldik. Okay, Geshmak. That's what we got here today.
How's that a perfect nafkamina? Meaning, ultimately, even if he's a shliach of Sheluach DeRachmana, he's still effectuating the korban on behalf of the person who needs to bring the korban. Someone's got to bring it. It's got to be a Kohen. It can't be the person. It's a really interesting shadow, like the fact that, and it's probably just a basic mitzias, and this is how korbanos work. That you're not that. There's a different halacha as far as being a shliach. What do you mean? If I have a korban and you as a Kohen are doing it for me, and I made a neder not to get benefit from you, at the end of the day, I fulfilled bringing my korban chatas by you taking care of it for me. How do we get around that? You still did it. I still benefited from you.
I'm thinking if you bring that's a good one. I don't know if you're I don't know. If the guy's not working for you and he does something for you, it's called getting enough from him. I don't know. It's good. So I got to think about it. Good point. Okay. I don't know what it says, but we'll call it a night. Okay. Shemaya, everybody. So we'll see you tomorrow. Mitzvah Shem.